Alright, this is part 2 of the pattern test that we're going to be doing. So, first step we're going to do very similar to what we did yesterday. You're going to put your first and your last name. And again, to do that, you're just going to go down here. You're going to go ahead and click out here. And I'm going to go ahead and type in Mr. and my last name. And I went ahead and already found the font that I wanted. And that is the font that I want. And again, you want to make sure that when you're doing this, you want to make sure that it is as bold as you can get it. We want this, the patterns to be able to come through there. So I'm going to go ahead and center this as well. And I'm going to go ahead and say OK. Now remember, on this level, level 2, we're going to go ahead and rasterize that layer. So to do that, I'm going to go over here, rasterize the layer, and then I can go up and free transform it here. I also want to show you something else a little bit that you can do. So I'm going to free transform that a little bit. That's too much. But you can also free distort it too. And so that's just under Edit. Let's go ahead and keep that. We're going to go up under Edit, and we're going to go to free distort. And now what you can do is you can actually grab some corners and distort the way your stuff looks there. So I want to actually kind of have it something similar to that. Alright. Now the next thing I want to do is I actually want to put more stuff out here in the background. And so to do that, actually before we do that, we need to make sure that we merge down our layers here. What we can do now is we can actually go up to click our brushes, and then we can go, that's the wrong brush, and I can click brushes up here, but I can actually click more here, and you can actually see there's charcoal, cracks, crushed paper, dirt, smudge, splatter. And so I can go ahead and click on those, and I can actually look at to see what they look like. Now remember that when you want to fill in things, you want things that are real solid. So if it's like this crushed paper, the crushed paper doesn't work very well because it doesn't have a solid fill. But here's dirt, and then there's smudge, and then of course there's splatter. And I like the splatter one. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and bring some of these things in. Now, say I want to bring in the splatter. All I have to do is click on it and click Add. And now I can go down here and you can see all the splatter stuff that I got. So I can click here, come right out here, and I just do a single click, and I've added some splatter there. So I'm going to pause this real quick while I decorate this, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I am back here, and I was real conscientious. I used a bunch of different splatter paints here. If you notice, I didn't use the same one. I wanted to make it look as natural as possible here. So this is what I came up with. So the next step, what we want to do is we want to actually bring in our URL layer. Now I went through and looked through stuff already, and this is the one that I found, and that's the one that I like. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and I'm going to copy it. I hope that works. Let's go ahead and go into layer, new layer by URL. I'll paste it in there, and there we go. Now if you notice that this layer here does not cover my whole paper, I can actually go up and free transform that, and so it's going to stretch it just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. So I'm going to cover up my whole paper there. Alright. So next step, remember that we want to unlock this, so we go ahead and click unlock. Or I would need to apply my changes. Yes. I'm going to double click to unlock. I'm going to go back to this layer, and I'm going to turn this layer off right now. And I'm going to go grab my magic wand tool, which is right here, and I'm going to go ahead and click out here. Whoa. What did I forget to do? Anybody know? Let's go ahead and deselect all. We need to make sure that we change, and we go back to this layer here. Grab that tool again and click on out here, and if you notice everything's highlighting, looks like I need to get inside my R here. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, R, you see that light up, come down here, get inside the R here, and let's look at the rest of my letter. It looks like inside the S needs it. And this is real imperative that you do this correctly, because if you don't do it right, you have to go back and do it again. Inside the O, and I'm going to go inside the D. Alright, I'm going to look real quick to make sure that I got everything, and you should see little, these little squiggly things all over it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and head over to layer 4, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that on now. I'm going to grab my eraser, and I want to have a hard eraser edge, and Ooh, anybody know what I did wrong? I do. Edit, undo. By the way, you can always see your stuff that you did here. Edit, undo. And I'm going to go back here. I need to make sure I'm on the right layer here. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and start erasing all that stuff. And then finally what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back with my fill bucket. So I can go ahead and edit, deselect all, and grab my fill bucket. I'm going to fill it with black, and you can fill it with whatever color that you want. And there we go. And as I'm looking at this, I don't know if I'm totally satisfied with the way things came out. The E is very hard to read on the side. And so I may want to go back and change that or find a different pattern that works a little bit better there. And I need to get into the S here. Alright, the last thing you're going to do here is that you want to put a quote on here. And it needs to be a meaningful quote. We're not just going to write LOL or something like that. So I'm going to go to a website called brainyquotes.com, and what I did was I typed in internet and I found this quote right here. It says, "The internet, like the steam engine, is a technological breakthrough that changed the world." So I'm going to go ahead and actually it's not going to let me highlight it because maybe it will. There we go. And so I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And if it says it's by Peter Singer, so I'm going to head back here and I'm going to just bring out my little text here. I'm going to click down here and I'm going to paste it. And it has some extra stuff that I need to get rid of. Get rid of. There we go. And I'm going to go right here and I'm going to make it a second line by hitting enter. And maybe we do one more. Okay. And now I'm going to take this and I want to go ahead and center it as well. Now if you notice, it still picks up my old font, and so what I want to do is I need to drop it down. And most likely I want to choose that to be a white color to show up on my background. And I don't like that font either. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my original fonts. Move this off to the side by clicking here and moving. And so let's see if I can find something I really like. Yeah, I like that right there. And finally I can actually move this to where I want it to be. And there's a couple things that I'm missing here. Number one is I need quotation marks because it is a quote. I put a quote there, come on down here, put a quote. And then I also need to have the person who said that quote, and it is Peter Singer. Okay, and with this I'm going to say okay. And I may want to go up to edit, since everything is kind of slanting upward like that. I may want to go up to edit, free transform that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say okay. But I can go ahead and I can change and rotate that around if I want to there. So anyways, that is what you're going to be doing today. Alright, I played around with a little bit here and I actually changed some of my colors to make it look a little different, but here's my final product. If you notice here, after I typed this, I rasterized it, and then I could actually free distort it, or I could actually free transform it and rotate it around. Anyways, good luck!